Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Ibilola Cole here. If you're new, you are very welcome. And if you have been here with me, thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to be showing everyone how I make my chocolate cake. Mind you, this was the first time I was making it. I love chocolate cake so much and I was so excited to make this. Yeah, I make cupcakes, but I've never made a cake as huge as this. This cake was absolutely delicious. It was very moist. It was very rich. You know what? Let's just get right into the video if you are interested. Okay guys, so for this cake, first things first, I'm going to show you guys how I cut my parchment paper. You need parchment paper so your cake doesn't stick. I know some people just use butter around it and then put flour. I do that sometimes, but on this day I had some parchment paper, so I decided to use some. So this is actually a trick on how I kind of cut my parchment paper to be a circle. I fold it into half and then I fold it again and again. Well, you guys, you need to rewatch this if you really want to learn how I fold it. But yeah, I really don't know how to explain it. But yeah, I kind of fold it like this and then cut it in the middle. I saw this trick somewhere. I can't remember. But yeah, I saw this trick somewhere, and since then I've been cutting my parchment paper like this. It's super easy, you know, and you can always recut it if it's not exactly a circle, but this was completely fine for me. So on to our dry ingredients. For this cake, I used 1.5 cup of flour, and I always sift my flour just so you know there are no particles and things like that, unwanted objects in our flour. Sometimes you see that, and you're going to see that in this cake. So I'm going to sift that properly and then remove all of the unwanted objects, as you can see. I'm also going to be using 1 cup of Dutch processed cocoa. I just love using the very thick, the very dark color because it's way more thicker and richer. I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon or 1 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder. The reason that I go for the Dutch processed cocoa is because it's just very rich, it's richer. And I'm just sifting everything. You would see the particles I was talking about. Yeah, you don't want that. Onto our wet ingredients, I'm going to be using coffee for this recipe. I love the taste of coffee in my cake. I had it once and I had to ask the person and they told me they put coffee. So I tried this and yeah, it was absolutely delicious. I also put 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And yeah guys, you're just going to mix that all together and set it aside. Now we're going to start making our batter. I'm going to mix some butter and some sugar. You're going to mix that all together. It's advisable that you use a hand mixer because you really have to do a lot of mixing till it's fluffy. You know, you would see what I'm really talking about. I used to bake cake for my auntie when I was way younger. Well, I didn't used to bake the cake, but I used to partake in the mixing. And for some reason, she didn't have a hand mixer. I was always using my hand to mix, and it was a lot. So yeah guys, get a hand mixer. It's way much easier. I'm also going to be using 3 eggs for this recipe. And I'm going to be adding the eggs one by one. You want the batter to absorb the eggs properly. And yeah, that's just basically what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm just going to mix it all together for about 5 minutes till it's very smooth, and then we can add the other dry ingredients. Feel free to scoop it if you feel like, you know, there's some around the edges and they're not in the in the bowl that you're using. You want to constantly scoop it and mix it. Yeah, guys, so I'm also going to add my secret ingredients. I'm telling you guys, my secret ingredients. Yeah, guys, so I love cream cheese in my cake. Trust me, you wouldn't really taste it, but I just love cream cheese and I love the flavor that it gives to my cake. It's not too much. And yeah, so you feel free to add it if you want. If you don't want, it's fine. I added my mixture of my Dutch processed powder, or cocoa rather, and my flour. I also added my coffee, and I'm mixing it all together. There's no particular reason why I'm adding it in batches, just so everything doesn't spill out of the bowl. That's basically what I'm doing. I also added some water because it was too thick. So yeah, guys, feel free to add your mixture, which is the coffee that we mixed together. Feel free to not add it if you don't like coffee in your cake. I love it, and that's why I added it, and trust me, you should try it. It's really good. So guys, I also added some chocolate because I just wanted extra richness. I wanted it to be very thick and very chocolatey. And now I'm adding my buttermilk. So like I said, the exact measurements will be in the description box below, but I added buttermilk and I'm just mixing it all together. You want to make sure it's smooth. You don't want to do this too much, over mix your batter. So guys, that's pretty much it. I'm going to keep on adding my buttermilk and mixing it all together so everything can properly incorporate, and then add it to my baking pan. So guys, yeah, I added some butter on my parchment paper. You want to do that and then just put your mixture in. When you put it, make sure you also hit it. I don't know how best to explain it, but you want the air to go out of the cake. So you want to, just fluff it out a bit. I preheated my oven to 325 degrees, and then I put it in there for 30 minutes. Also, a trick that I learned, when you put in your toothpick and it still has something on it, it's not ready. But yeah, I left it for some other minutes, probably additional 10 minutes, and it was just perfect. Look at my chocolate cake, guys. Super dewy and nice and thick and rich, just how I like it. So guys, you also want to leave it for a while and then put it on a pan or on something for it to dry up. Not dry up, for it to cool down. So I'm going to make my buttercream, and that's what I'm doing here. The temperature of your butter in making buttercream is very important. You want to make sure it's not too hard and it's not too soft. So mine was a little bit hard. Thankfully, I have a setting on my hand mixer that's able to warm it up a bit, just to soften it up. Actually, that's a better word, to soften it up a bit. So I turned it on for about 5 seconds, and yeah guys, I got the perfect butter. So you want to mix this till it's fluffy, and it doesn't have that buttery color anymore. So you want to mix it for a while. I also just added my powdered sugar. I'm going to be adding this in batches just so I don't make a mess. I used about 4 cups of powdered sugar for this recipe. Feel free to use your spatula, just like what I said earlier, you don't want to make a mess. So that's one of the reasons why I'm adding it bit by bit. And also you want to use a spatula for the corners, just so everything is properly incorporated in the bowl. So guys, I just added half a cup of my Dutch processed cocoa, You want to add this, like I said, carefully. You don't want to make a mess. So yeah guys, you want to mix it properly, and yeah, just incorporate your milk as needed, and then add your Dutch processed cocoa. But I already added everything. I added 5 teaspoons or tablespoon rather of milk. You don't want to add too much milk, and just mix it all together so it's, you know, properly incorporated. Alright guys, the fun part, it's time to decorate. Yeah, mind you, I am not an expert at baking cakes. This was my first time, but yeah, it was really, it tasted absolutely delicious. I'm going to not make this a perfect cake. That's not what I'm going for. So the buttercream is not going to be perfectly decorated all over. There's a look that I'm looking forward to. Yeah, so there's a look I'm looking forward to, and that's what you're going to see. Yeah, I didn't bother to cut the cake so it's really flat. I wish I did that, because to be honest, my cake was kind of, you know, it was kind of like it was falling off. But yeah, so maybe I should have cut the cake round just so it's really flat all around, so it could have sat down properly. But I didn't really do that. I didn't want to waste any cake. The only thing that I cut out, which you're going to see later in this video, is some part of the cake, just because I wanted to use that for some decoration. So guys, yeah, I'm just using, I don't know what this thing is called, but I got it from Amazon. I guess it's just something to make it smoother. So that's what I'm doing. I also put the crumbs of the cake just around the cake. That's basically what I did. I just sprinkled it around. I kept some strawberries and some cherries. I also sprinkled some icing sugar, powdered sugar on the cake, just for decor guys. You can skip this if you don't want, but this cake was absolutely delicious. I also felt like the strawberries weren't as fresh as I wanted, so I went on to get new strawberries fresh from the grocery store, and I added them on. So guys, that's absolutely it. My cake turned out really nice. It was very delicious. I was so proud of myself baking this absolutely delicious cake for the first time ever in my entire life. I'm going to definitely do this again and again because it was so good. Yeah guys, and that was basically it. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, like and share with your friends. Also subscribe if you haven't. Leave me a lovely comment if you like what I do. And yeah guys, I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.